Guys, is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So any photographer does two things basically. First, he clicks a picture with correct settings in camera, and second, he post-process or edit the picture using softwares to match what he has seen. So basically, post-processing and editing are two different things. So we'll go and look at it. Post-processing is adjusting the data which is captured by the camera, like adjusting exposure, white balance, saturation, sharpness, noise, etc. While editing is process of removing or adding elements into the photograph. So these are the contents we are going to learn today. I assume most of you might be familiar with Lightroom, so I need not to explain how to import photos into the Lightroom. Does anybody want to know how to import photos into Lightroom? Please let me know in chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Okay, I assume you almost know how to import pictures. As you see the screen, on the left side, you have a navigator tool, which is used to zoom the picture. You can use these ratios to which you can zoom 2:1 or 1:2, anything. It is very useful to zoom the picture while you are editing. And right side, you have all the editing tools. You can see the pictures in library module, and to edit the picture, you have to go into develop module. So here you find a histogram, crop tool. This is crop tool. This is spot removal tool, and this is red eye correction. This is linear gradient. This is a radial gradient, and this is adjustment brush. And you have different tools here to edit. So first we'll be going with crop tool. It has three main components in it. One is aspect ratio, second is alignment, third is composition. So if you see this picture, I feel this picture is little bit tilted as ship is not straight. So to make it straighten or crop the picture, we use crop tool. Here is the aspect ratio. If you want to post the picture on Instagram, you can change the aspect ratio to 4:5. If you want to post it in Facebook, you can change it to 16:9. It depends on where you are going to use the picture. If you want to customize the aspect ratio, you have to first unlock this, and you can customize the ratio as per your need. So I feel I don't need there is no need to crop the picture. So next part is the straightening the image. It can be done in two ways. First is using automatic straightening. Just click this auto button, and Lightroom does straightening by itself. Did you get it? The ship has become straight. Now it looks much appealing. You can do it in other way by taking this ruler and draw a line where you find a straight line. The image is straightened. This is the second picture. Here also the image is a little bit tilted, so I'll do it automatically. It does very good work, but you see there is no symmetry. Here you find lot of space, but here is no space. So we'll try doing it manually. Take the ruler tool and draw a line where you find a straight line. Now also there is a lot of space. So let's crop the picture a little bit. The second thing you have to check is the symmetry in a picture. Both right side and left side image should be symmetric so that it looks very good. And third thing in this crop tool is composition. Here you find three lines. It's rule of thirds. In order to change those rules, you can press O button on keypad. It changes to diagonals, golden ratio, golden spiral. There are different types of composition tools in this. You just have to press O. If you want to change the direction of this golden spiral, just hold shift and press O. It will change the direction. While cropping, this tool is very much useful, whether you want to place the subject on the intersection of these points or at diagonal points, you can use this tool. Next comes the spot removal tool. It has three main things. One is cloning, one is healing, and third is to remove lens dust. If you see this picture, you don't find any lens dust in this picture, but while you edit the picture, there will be so much lens dust. Let me show it. See, here you find all the lens dust. In order to remove this, we use this spot removal tool. Here you find two options. One is cloning and one is healing. Both are almost same, where cloning is removing certain part of picture and replacing it with other part, while healing is removing the picture, removing the part of the picture and replacing it automatically. So I'll show. Zoom to finance dust. So it is removing the part of the picture, removing this part and adding this part over the region. This is how it works. If you want to see the lens dust, you have to press visualize spots option here on the down part of the photo. You can increase or decrease the intensity. Once you increase all the intensity, you find lens dust here. This is the dust present on my lens. So I have to clean the lens, or I can edit them while post processing. You just have to click on it. It does the heal automatically. Once you're done, you can uncheck the box. Now let's edit this picture. I think you can find the lens dust here easily. Just click the spot removal tool, adjust the size of the brush according to your need, and this feather option is diameter of the inner circle. It is the transition stage between edit and normal image, while opacity is the flow of the brush. You just have to click it. If you want to zoom it, you can zoom it using this navigator tool. Here I find this man disturbing. If you want to remove this man, you can use clone tool or heal tool. Now I'll try using the heal tool. Just draw a stroke on this man. It has done its part, but it's not appealing. It has copied this region over here. I don't like it, so I'll use clone option. First I'll remove this. I'll use clone brush. I think now it is fine. Without using that visualize spots option, you can check the lens dust by increasing the DH. Here you can find spots here. Now use the heal tool to remove those spots. After removing the lens dust, you have to undo the DH. Now you find the image good. That's it with the spot removal tool. Now we'll go with basic adjustments. Here you find all the basic adjustments. First is the white balance. It is just the warmness or the coolness of colors. If you decrease the white balance, the image turns into blue. If you increase it, it turns into orange or yellowish. And exposure is overall brightness of the picture. If you increase the exposure, overall brightness of the picture increases. If you decrease it, overall brightness of the image decreases. And second option is contrast. Contrast is just to bring difference between whites and blacks mainly. If you increase the contrast, blacks become much darker and whites become much whiter. If you decrease this, it becomes vice versa. Darks become white and whites become black. And next option is highlights. Highlights is it's the brightest. It includes the brightest parts of the picture. I mean, here the brightest parts are these clouds. So if you increase the highlights, the clouds become much brighter. If you decrease them, clouds become much darker. And shadows is the darker parts of the image. If you increase the shadows, it increases the dark. It brightens the darker area. If you decrease the shadows, it becomes. Darker regions become more darker. Similarly, the whites and blacks. Whites is the whiter part of the image, and blacks are the darker parts of the image. Usually, the texture, clarity, and dehaze are not used here. It will be used in gradients. Now also we can use, but it's not that efficient. Mainly dehaze is used to remove the haze present in the picture. Just when you click a picture during a foggy day or at higher altitudes, you can see the picture perfectly because of the obstruction of haze present in the atmosphere. So in order to remove that haze, we use dehaze tool. Now we will not be touching this tool. And vibrance is intensity, color intensity of the midtones, where saturation is color intensity of all the tones or all the colors present in the picture. Next comes the tone curve, where topmost part of the tone curve includes the brighter parts, while downmost part includes the darker parts of the image. Without using this basic adjustment, you can edit the picture using tone curve. Next comes the HSL. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and luminance. When you change the hue of any particular color, it changes the color. While saturation is changes the intensity of the color, and luminance is change of brightness of the color. Here you find only blue and green colors. So let's experiment with blue and green colors. While changing the hue of blue color, you can see the change in similarly with the saturation, it increases the intensity of blue color. While luminance increases the brightness of the blue. If you increase the green, you can see greener parts are becoming brighter. Now they become dark. Mostly I use this auto edit option because it saves a lot of time. So let's try this. It edits the picture as per the requirements. Mostly it overexposes the image. So let's reduce the exposure a little bit. Crop the image. I mean, first let's straighten the image. Next thing I check is the symmetry, whether the image look balanced on right side and left side. So that's it with the basic adjustment. If you want to make any adjustment, you can try experimenting with the sliders either by increasing or decreasing. Before using these tools, you have to know why you are using this tool and what's the purpose of this tool. So I've explained what's the purpose of these tools. So you can keep on experimenting with these sliders. Next is a virtual copy. As the name suggests, virtual copy is creating a duplicate copy virtually. These virtual copies allow photographer to create several versions of single photograph and edit them differently and compare the results. That is, before editing a picture, you will often know whether you want the output in black and white or color. But at the end, you want to see both the results. So this virtual copy helps us to do it. Here you find the image. I like to edit in black and white, but I also want to see in color. To make a virtual copy, first you have to right click on the image, and here you have an option called create virtual copy. So two copies are created. This is virtual copy and this is the original one. You can do certain edits on both the images and compare the results. Guys, do let me know if I'm going fast. I'll slow up little. And this is the second image. I want to edit it in black and white or monochrome. See, this is the color version and this is the black and white version. So you can keep the image which you like or export both the images. This is how we use virtual copy tool. You create, right click the image, right click on it, create virtual copy. See, that's it. Second image is created. And you can apply black and white or any other edits you want to do. And you can compare both the results. So split toning, next topic is split toning. It's my favorite part. Now it's in updated version, it's called as color grading. In color grading, it gave 4 options. As the name itself suggests, split toning, that is dividing the tones, colors of the image. Mainly in older version, it divides the colors into two parts, one in the highlights region and one in the shadows part. But in updated version, you get different options like global tones and mid tones. Let's edit this picture using split toning. First, I'll just see whether the image is straightened or not. It's already straight. Now let's do the auto edits. As I said, it little bit overexposes the image. Let's decrease the exposure. Now let's go to split toning part. In highlights region, as I said, you highlights region is the brightest part of the image, where shadows region is darker parts of the image. So here you have to add the color which you want. Usually I like to add golden color. It is around somewhere 30 to 40. I'll add 40 and increase the saturation. Now you can see the highlights region is colored with orange tones. And the shadows region I like to add blue. It is somewhere around 200. Increase the saturation. See, as you increase the saturation, shadows region is covered with blue tones. I'll decrease the saturation of blue tone. In order to balance it, you can use this option balance. Uh, let's increase dehaze a little bit to get the view of the mountains which are behind. Let's increase the temperature a little bit to make it warmer. Yeah, that's it. To check the before and after results, you have to press this option. See, this is the before image and this is after image after editing. Now let's edit the other picture. I'll directly add split tone. Here also I want to add golden color as it's sunrise. It's around 30 to 40. You have to keep on experimenting with those values. Or you can use it or you can get color pick from this tool. The shadow region I'll add blue tones. Good. I don't want to add anything in shadow region. Yeah, that's it. Just like the before and after it. See in the orange tones. So before it was totally white. Now it's in orange tone. So this is the best part of split tone. Next is the targeted adjustments. In targeted adjustments, you have three main filters. One is radial filter, which is the radial filter. You can find it here. Second is the linear adjustment filter. It is here beside radial filter. And third is the adjustment brush. You can find it here. So let's edit the picture using this targeted adjustment. On looking at this picture, I feel like increasing colors over this girl and decrease some exposure around her. So first I'll use radial filter. Just click the radial filter option and draw a circle. Then click show select and mask overlay option. So you'll find where the mask region you applied. I mean, this is the region where you are going to make the edit. If you want to apply the edits on inside region of the circle, you have to click this invert option. So based on your requirement, you have to use this radial filter. First, I'll increase the exposure around the subject. Before editing this, let's uncheck the box so that we can see what edits are going on. Let's add some details. Now I'll add some exposure and saturation on the subject. Let's check the mask overlay. Let's invert it. Now we are going to apply edits inside this radial filter. And check this. Add some contrast. Add some shadows. Let's add some saturation. Here, there is a lot of space here, which doesn't make the image look good. So let's edit it. I mean, crop it bit. I'm trying to frame the subject in the middle part of the frame. Let's increase some overall exposure. Let's increase some vibrance. I always choose vibrance over saturation because vibrance increases overall color, where saturation increases only the main tones. So I feel this edited up to the mark. Yeah, that's it. If you want to smoothen the skin, we can use the adjustment brush. Use this adjustment brush and draw strokes of the area where you want to make the edit. Check the mask overlay. So the parts in the region are going to be edited. So in this region, I want to make the skin softer. So let's decrease the clarity or texture little bit. And add up some noise. As I said, auto edit option overexposes the image. Let's undo the exposure. Now I want to focus on the eye of the snake. So let's zoom it. Apply a radial filter over the snake's eye. Then show the selected mask overlay. Invert it if you want to edit inside the circle. So I want to add up some clarity, some dehaze, little bit exposure, and add some shadows. Now I want to add some texture over the snake skin. So I'll use the adjustment brush. You can change the size of brush using these options. And you can change the intensity of flow by this option. Always check whether it is auto mask or not. Actually, it uses auto auto masking feature, because while you edit, while you give strokes, if there are any other objects, it will not brush will not be applied over there. If you uncheck it, it goes on to the other objects too. So always try to use it in auto mask. Show selected mask hole and add strokes over the region which you want to edit. So I like to add some texture over the snake skin. Never ever add texture or clarity to the extreme limits. It only destroys or ruins your photo. Just add little bit, not too much. Yeah, this is before edit and this is after edit. Let's crop it a little bit so that object is focused. I'm placing the subject in the center. Now let's add some vignette effect, which is in the option effects. Here is the vignetting. If you slide down, move the slider towards left side, it adds black vignette. If you move the slider to right side, it adds white vignette. Now, according to a situation, we use black vignette. So we'll move the slider towards left. I feel them. Yeah, it's okay. Now we'll use the linear gradient filter over this image. First, let's auto edit it. Let's decrease some exposure. Here is a linear gradient or graduated filter. Let's add this. You have to drag down from top. Here I'm applying it to the sky. Let's check the show selected mask overlay. Here I'm applying the filter over the sky. So I can add some dehaze to it. Dehaze always helps us to make the sky look dramatic. Here we are applying the filter over this mask too, but in order to avoid the filter on this mask, you can use the range mask. You can turn it on and change it to color, either color or luminance. If you change it to color, you have to select the color over which you want to apply the filter. So here I want to apply the filter only on the blue part of the sky. So here is the color picker tool. Let's pick the tool and click it. So did you see the change? Now we are applying the filter only on the bluer region of the picture, not on the mask. Similarly, we can use the luminance filter, luminance mask. Check the show luminance mask. Here you will find the range. When you slide the slider towards right, it will remove the darker regions from the filter. If you move the slider from right towards left, it will remove the brighter parts from the mask. So based on your requirement, you have to use this luminance mask. Now we'll use color mask as it is accurate to select the bluer region. Yeah, now if you want to add other color, just hold the shift button and click on the color. If you want to remove it, then again undo it. To make the sky dramatic, I added a little bit of dehaze. I'll add up some saturation. That's it. This is how you use these filters. These are very much useful to edit on a targeted subject. Now we'll do some more edits to the image. Straighten the picture. It's already almost straight. And let's use this hues HSL option to increase the tones of greens in the picture. I'll little bit add saturation to the green so they look out. Yeah, that's it. We have changed the image from this to this. This is before edit and this is after edit. Next, we are going to stitch the photos. Actually, stitching is just joining two or more pieces into single piece. Now here we'll stitch two or more photos into single picture using photo merge option. We can use this photo stitching to make HDR pictures or panorama pictures or stacked images. But for this we need some requirements. First we have to click different pictures by changing the camera direction and placing the subject with 30% of intersection. So first I click this image which includes these mountain and little mountain here, and in second picture it was the same mountain in the previous picture and this is the little mountain. So we need 30% of intersection from previous image and next image. Similarly to the next image, this is the little mountain and this is the newer part. While going to fourth picture, this is the previous part and this is the newer part. So we need at least 30% of the intersection between those images to make it a photo merge. First we have to select the images either by using control or shift, then right click on it, then go to photo merge. Sorry. Then you'll find when you right click on it, you'll find the option called photo merge. Now you can turn it into panorama. Just click on the panorama. It will take few seconds to process. So I didn't align the image, so you find this here, but we can remove it using this boundary warp. Just make it to 100%.
That's it. You can use this cylindrical option or perspective option, which changes the viewpoint. You see some kind of distortion is present here. I always prefer spherical over other two. And you just click merge option, it will merge into a single picture. But it takes time, so I will not be merging it now. But this is the way how you do it. After editing, after merging, you can do the edits, just removing all the lens dust or adding some dehaze, adding some tones. If you want to merge into a HDR, you need 3 different pictures, one with underexposure, one with balanced exposure, and one with overexposed. Sorry. To make a HDR picture, you need 3 pictures, one with underexposed, one is balanced, and one is overexposed. Then you similarly check the 3 images and merge it into HDR. So that's how we create HDR images. So next topic is bulk editing. It is we can edit number of pictures with just one click. We use sync settings option to do so. When you sync, you are copying either 1, 2, or 3, or all the adjustments or data from the main image to other images which you have selected. I'm sure you won't understand by this sentence. I'll show how it's done. First, we have to edit any single picture. I'll crop this picture. Let's do some different crop. So I have done this edit, and I want to apply this edit to all the pictures present in this folder. So in order to do that, you just have to select this image first and select all the other images using Control A. Now you find here 2 options. One is sync metadata and sync settings. Here metadata includes all the details of the picture like height, width, pixels, camera gear used, location, or any other data related to picture. So we can copy all the metadata to the different pictures from this picture, from the main anchor picture. If you use this sync settings option, you will get a box showing whether you want to sync this only white balance or exposure contrast. You can select either of this or all of these options. I'll check all and do the sync. See, all the images are this is our anchor image, and these are the remaining images which we copied the edit. Now we are towards the end of the discussion. This is adding watermark. Let's take this picture, and we'll before adding watermark, we need to create a watermark for our need. I already have some watermarks of our college, so we'll be using those watermarks. So we have to export it to add a watermark. Right click on the image, take the export option. So in this, you will have a watermark in the last second option. Just add the watermark, go to edit watermarks. In this, you select watermark style as graphic and choose an image or PNG file. Here the background is black, so I'll choose a watermark which is in white color. I mean text in white color. So here is the image in which text is in white color. I'll choose this and I'll increase the opacity to 100. So here always select the size proportional to the proportional, not either fit or fill. Choose proportional and resize it accordingly. This is anchoring the watermark. Either you want to place it on the top right corner or top left corner or bottom end corner. Most ideal position to place a watermark is top right corner of the image. That is this part of the image. So let's place it over there. And create, select save. Then you can give a watermark name as NITK white text. Now here you are applying the watermark as NITK white text and you click export. That's it, you will export the file with watermark over this top right corner. So that's it for today. If you have any doubts, do let me know. You can type any text or you can unmute and ask doubts.
Yeah, so guys, if you have any doubts, you can start asking.
So let's add some orange tones to this image using split toning.
Yeah, Rajiv, what I messaged in chat.
Do we need an premium? Yes, definitely. We need to buy the version of this Adobe Lightroom, but you find cracked versions over the internet. It's not safe to use cracked version, but if you don't have we don't have any other option rather than buying or using cracked version. We have a mobile option is free, I think so. We can use the Adobe Lightroom mobile feature, but you will not get a premium. Yes, you will not get this radial or selected adjustments option. For that, you need to buy premium version.
Yeah.
Using simple split toning and other options, we changed this image from normal image to golden hour image. This is how we use split toning. It's very much useful. So you have to keep practicing all this stuff, otherwise you'll get confused what is what. So keep trying, keep practicing editing images. I think everyone is clear about the topics.
Yeah. So no questions.
Okay, then we can wrap the session.
Okay. So thank you, Dheeraj, for your time. It was great.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thanks for joining the session. Okay, bye. Take care.